Welcome to the channel, everyone, and for today's video we're going to be installing a short throw shifter and bushings for the shifter. So the short throw shifter will reduce the amount of travel you need to shift into gears, and the bushings will make it feel not as sloppy. So let's get into installing them. First step is taking everything apart. Next we're going to be installing, now we're going to take it for a test drive. Should be a pretty simple video. Okay, so to remove the shifter, there are two 10mm in here and one Phillips head screw back here. There are the two 10mm bolts in there. Let's get to the Phillips head screw, just pull this up. Now we should just be able to pop this off. Okay, wasn't even clipped down. Cool. Guess I previously broke the clip. So now that can move back. Should be able to pull this up and forward. Unscrew the shift knob. There we go. Now it's exposed. There are two white clips right here. You can unscrew them with your hands. This can now pop right off, and everything is exposed. So now that we have everything taken off, we need to remove this bolt and nut, and then underneath of it there's a ring clamp that we need to remove as well. Looking for 12mm. Bolt is removed. Ring clamp pliers. Now that the ring clamp is removed, we're just going to pull up. Alright, and that's what everything looks like once it's all removed, and now we can go under the car. So now we are under the car, and what we need to remove is this heat shield. There are 4 bolts you need to remove the heat shield. The rear 2 you can remove with a ratchet and a 12mm socket. The front 2, because of the exhaust, you will need a wrench or a low profile socket, and they can be tricky to get leverage. Ugh, that was miserable. Next I remove the O2 sensor, because you need to remove that or unplug it to get the heat shield out, and then I could bend the heat shield and remove it out of the way. With the heat shield removed, we can now access the two 12mm bolts holding the rear bushing on, and the other 12mm nut holding the front bushing on. This is what it looks like when the shift assembly is removed. You can see above the drive shaft a spot on the left and the right for the bolt, and a rubber plastic square where the base of the shifter will be installed. Now that's all out of the car, let's take a closer look. We have the shift assembly, the shifter, the new kartboy shifter, and then what we're going to replace here are the bushings. So we have 2 bushings up front and 1 bushing in the back. With the shift assembly out of the car, we're going to demonstrate how we're going to fix the slop. So normally when you're in gear and it wiggles back and forth, it is this piece, this bottom piece that wiggles back and forth. How we are going to tighten that up is by replacing these soft bushings with much harder bushings, and same in the back. And now to shorten the throw distance, which is the distance to go between gears, this piece on the kartboy is longer than this piece OEM. So as this piece is in the pivot point, it'll take less movement up here to get it in and out of gear because this bottom piece is longer. Now we have the old bushings removed and the new bushings installed, and we're ready to throw this back into the car. Alright, we have the shift assembly in, the bolts in, the bushing in the rear, and can we see from here the nut on the bushing in the front. And now that the shift assembly is back in, we need to take everything from the old shifter and move it over to the new shifter. That includes this little plastic piece, the clamp ring, and whatever this is. Now that everything's shifted over, we're ready to reinstall it in the car. To reinstall this in the car, it's easy as just putting it in the slot and then resetting the ring clamp. For reinstalling, you just do everything you did to take it apart in the reverse order. We did that, so now it's time to take it for a test drive. Alright, so I'll be doing a follow-up video later this month when I go to the track and I can test out the short throw shifter, the bushings, the coilovers, everything I put on since the last track day. But even on this small test drive, I could tell a noticeable difference in the stiffness in getting it into gear and also the distance in getting it into gear. For as simple of an install as there should be, I had a little bit of difficulty getting the 2 bolts in the rear shift assembly bushing, and that's because on the old bushing, it's very thin right here, and it's thicker on the new bushing, and there's a weird angle the bolts need to go in, so with a little bit of patience, you'll be fine. Just be careful not to strip it out. Overall, for the cost, the installation time, and the noticeable difference, I would definitely recommend this as a do-it-yourself install. I hope you enjoyed the video. As always, drop a like, subscribe, and I'll catch you for the next project.